In another development, the South African Communist Party supports the ANC step-aside resolution for leaders facing criminal charges. The party, which is a unit of the tripartite alliance, says it welcomes the resolution to arrest the cancer of corruption that threatens the demise of the ANC. Joining us via Zoom for reactions on the developments coming out of the ANC is the SACP First Deputy General Secretary, Solly Mapaila. Solly, a very good evening to you. Thanks for joining us. Welcome to The Full View.
Good evening, and good evening to our viewers as well.
Now, the ruling party has seen the first casualty of the step-aside resolution, which the SACP supported. What's your reaction to the developments from the ANC?
Yeah, we fully support the ANC during this difficult time, which is also an important period for it because if it takes appropriate decision, it will be able to restore its confidence of the people of South Africa and restore its integrity. And therefore, we also want to reassert that the individuals are not important over the organization, and the organization is the one that has positions that it gives or elects individuals into. But we think that the NEC coming up should be quite unequivocal and send a clear message to the rest of its membership, and of course the rest of the alliance about how we as the leading liberation movement needs to conduct ourselves and respect our people and the electorate that have put us into power. So in this regard, we fully support the decision of the ANC, the process that they followed. It has been a long process, transparent process, and I think everyone can see its sense of fairness.
Well, if more heads will roll within the ANC and its leaders taking the fall as a result of these resolutions, Solly, if this perhaps affects leaders also linked to the SACP, will this necessitate an introspection of how the South African Communist Party should align itself with the ANC?
Yes, quite clearly. But from our side, we also have a similar resolution. In fact, we assist members who are unable to step aside quickly by suspending them. But in the past, we've never had difficulties with members in that regard. So obviously, this matter, we are in alliance with the ANC, not with the individuals or the different factions. So we'll listen much more to what the collective leadership of the ANC says. But in any case, you know, if you look at the ANC Constitution 25.70, it's quite clear about the step-aside policy in the Constitution, the constitutional matter. I don't understand why people are trying to make it too difficult instead of following what is stipulated even in the Constitution, let alone the Policy Conference resolution.
Well, Solly, the reason I'm asking this question is the SACP's entire approach to its demand for a reconfiguration of the alliance as it has changed from threatening to leave the alliance to committing to a united one.
No, we have not necessarily threatened to leave the alliance. We have said if the ANC doesn't conduct itself in an appropriate way, we'll certainly have to leave. But we have called for reconfiguration of the alliance, that is to change the manner in which it operates. So the accountability, even within the collective of the alliance, the accountability to the people of South Africa, the accountability on programs that we promise in the manifesto that we will implement, and the accountability on corruption. So all of these things have been, many and several others have led to that particular call so that we are able to be certain about what is expected of each of us. It can be that one part will be expected to have discipline and honesty that the other doesn't. So this is the framework that led to this particular development. But in any case, we still believe that South Africa needs an organization of the ANC kind that is broad, is able to bring about all sectors of our people, particularly given that we are still in the elementary stages of nation building as a country. So we require the ANC in one way or the other. But it can be ANC of any kind. It can be ANC riddled with corruption and criminals inside. So it should be an ANC that is able to set a good example, like it has done with its liberation struggle pedigree. So in that regard, yes, we've raised this concern. It's not a threat. It's the reality. In fact, I just come from the Alliance Secretariat. We're putting these matters back on the table for appropriate discussion. But at the moment, is to unify the ANC, to make sure that we don't waste the opportunity we have received from the people of South Africa to lead a radical transformation program for the people of our country.
Well, you were quoted last year as having said that you have to deal with the root cause of corruption, which is the tender system, and the tender system creates sort of a relationship between private sector individuals and politics. So, as the SACP has been so vociferous in calling out corruption, was this informed by the SACP's anti-capitalist stance, or was there a study which sought to posit the tender system as a fly in the ointment?
No, at that time we have been receiving serious reports about corruption in government, and when we were raising these matters, no one could actually point out that it is happening there. And of course, at a particular point, people will simply say, if there's corruption, report this matter to the courts or to the police, and so that there can be investigation. And these matters, in some instances, were investigated. As you know, how the state capture happened, it captured all layers of the state, including the security sector. So our complaints were like meaningless. So that's why we felt that it would have been important to stop the one that feed the trough of the thieves and stop the tender system and make sure that you get the people much more involved into the public sector, and you allow the government particularly to use its industrial component to lead in that particular space, as well as the general service sector. So in that way, you would have saved more money for the state and employed more people. On the contrary, we have seen that we've also seen many skills leaving the public sector, including the engineering skills. And now, for instance, we have to go to the Cubans to get some assistance with the engineering skills. And what has been missing in this debate is, if you check, you'll get a minister to give you the number of engineers in the public sector. They are all in the private sector. So, or majority are in the private sector, overwhelming majority. So it's precisely because of this tendering system that they leave the critical skills, leave into the private sector, and still use the resources of government to do their work in the private sector. So that's why the tender system, we felt, has to be done away with.
Well, remember that a couple of years ago, Solly, there were sentiments within the South African Communist Party and some party members lamenting that the SACP should go it alone at the elections, and in as much as you don't want to call this as a threat. But where is the SACP with regards to that, as we're now fast approaching the local government elections? What's the position of the SACP?
We have put our issues within the alliance. For instance, we have said that we don't want corrupt individuals or councillors to be the representative of the people. We will never accept that, and we need people who will support who are supported by the community where they come from, who are respected by their community, not people who are hostile in their respective communities and then are turned into councillors. And we have had experiences of some extremely arrogant councillors, even in the recent local government election. We have dealt with some of them. So it is in that regard that we have said this matter will be dealt with on a case-by-case basis. As you know, we contested Metsimaulu municipality in Sasol. We have the mayor there, Lindwe Chongo, who is a member of the Communist Party. But she was frustrated because we didn't get the overwhelming support. Immediately she came in, she put an investigation into corruption. And when she was supposed to act on the forensic report, then a series of motion of no confidence were raised against her. So, but we're looking into that on a case-by-case basis and discussing that with the ANC in areas where, for instance, they are unable to resolve that. Then the SACP has the right to contest. For instance, one of the big areas that we have raised concern was the Malutapufung area in the Free State province, where there was a serious chaos, lack of basic services to the people, including services paid into a house of the mayor. And these were, unbelievable stuff. So with all of those things, at that time it was too late to contest, but we had some of the comrades that were members of the party went on to contest individuals. But we are now looking at case-by-case basis of a municipality or even a district where there are challenges. And if the ANC or our allies are unable to come to the party to resolve those problems, we should allow our comrades to stand.
Solly Mapaila, the South African Communist Party First Deputy General Secretary, joining us live on the line. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
This is The Full View on SABC News. Thank you so much for joining us now.